You beautiful, beautiful people. Welcome back. Okay, it is April 23rd. And at the time of this recording, I have just passed 100 subscribers. Now 100 isn't this like huge or magical number that I was aspiring to hit, but it is kind of a milestone. So I want to take a couple seconds to do this. But on a serious note, if you subscribe to the channel, thank you so much. Seriously, seriously. This YouTube stuff is hard. It takes a lot of time and sometimes growth is slow. So it just feels good to see, you know, that 100, even though again, as I said, it's not like this huge milestone or goal that I was trying to reach, but we're here and it truthfully feels kind of nice. So thank you again. And I hope that I can keep providing value, or that my content is at least kind of entertaining. I hope. It's still kind of difficult for me to be 100% myself in front of the camera because it's weird, but I'm trying to get there, so hopefully I'm not too boring. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep pushing this content out and it's only gonna get better, and I'm honored to have you as part of the journey, so thank you. As content creators, they say that you have to make some videos purely for fun or just because you feel like doing them in an effort to keep things interesting for yourself and to not burn out. So that's kind of what this is. I'm going to talk about how I started YouTube on a budget and all the different equipment that I have. And if any of you are interested in starting as well, then maybe this will give you an idea of what equipment to get and what not to get, and then how much it'll cost you more or less. So let's get started with the first piece of equipment that I bought, which was a tripod. So this thing is pretty cool, right? Because it's got the actual tripod with the built-in phone clamp, but then it also has a light that came with it and a shotgun mic. So this was actually purchased from Staples, and it was probably no more than like 40 bucks. I bought it during like the holidays, so it may have been on sale even then. But so far it's worked great. I mean, it's not the most like sturdy piece of equipment. It's not made of like steel or anything like that, but it's just holding a phone, so it works fine. By the way, yes, I use my phone to record all of my videos. I have an iPhone 14. I will show you, but I'm using it to record this video, so I kind of can't. Anyway, back to the tripod. So the tripod is actually pretty adjustable. It's got a bunch of different heights that it can stretch to. And obviously if you clamp it, you can adjust it and make it super customized. So if I stretch it all out and then I unclamp this, that's about as tall as it can get. Now I'm 5'7", so it's not huge, but it works. Take a few steps back, it'll hit your whole body in it. It also has a built-in level, so you can always make sure that your shot is straight, which is good. And then it's got the handle, which makes it super adjustable. As for the light, it's not a super bright light, but in low light settings, it does help quite a bit, and it actually has 3 different brightness settings. So if you wanted to film close to your phone or just like sat on a desk, then it would work well. But aside from that, you probably wouldn't need bigger lighting setups if you were gonna film in a bigger room. Or you can get in front of a window like I am right now. Finally, the microphone. I'm not gonna lie, the microphone is actually surprisingly good for how cheap this whole setup was. And when I first bought it, all I had was my phone, so it actually sounds a lot better than the built-in mic on the iPhone. The problem is that if you're not super close to it, it doesn't pick up sound amazingly, so you kind of do have to be pretty close, or you can just bump the volume when you're editing, right? So it's fine. But overall, I was very happy with this purchase, and all it cost was 40 bucks, so. Oh, a couple more things actually. The tripod came with the little remote, so once everything's plugged in, you can use these buttons to start recording without having to touch your camera, so you won't shift anything, so that's pretty cool. The other thing is I had to buy this little thing, which is a lightning to headphone jack adapter so that I could use the mic. That was like 10 bucks. So we'll call it 50 bucks so far. All right, so after using that tripod for a while, I realized that that mic wasn't working great simply because I was having to keep editing the volume or just had to be close to the mic. My next purchase was actually a Bluetooth microphone. Now this was cool because it was only like 25 bucks and it's also super easy to use. So all you have to do is plug this lightning receiver into your phone and turn it on. That simple, plug and play. Now admittedly, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with these little microphones because when they work great. But being that they're only 25 bucks, the audio tended to cut out sometimes, or sometimes the audio would kind of fade. It'd be loud 1 second and then it'd get kind of quiet. The other problem is that because they were so inexpensive, they're kind of cheaply made. And I realized that when I moved around, they kind of had this rattle going where the button is. So here, give me a second. I'm not sure if it's picking it up, but it's got this little rattle that when I would move around, you could hear the rattle from the microphone. Basically what I ended up having to do was holding it very tightly. I couldn't even clip it onto myself because that wouldn't work. I would hold it, and that kind of worked for a little while, but truthfully I wasn't very happy with it. So I stopped using it and went back to the shotgun mic, which I realized is kind of poking in here, so maybe move that out. Anyway, maybe I just didn't use this enough to figure out the kinks and figure out how to make it work. So if you're on a really, really low budget, then this is an option. But for the most part, I think I would just spend a little extra money and move on. All right, purchase 3. Lights. Now this purchase is something that I was really happy with because the lights are great, they can get bright, they have different temperature settings, and they can go from as short as this to as tall as this. Oh, and I should probably mention that I actually got 2 of them. Now I haven't been using them as much because it's no longer winter and I actually have daylight when I get off work, so I'm using that right now and it truthfully looks pretty good. So, but in the winter they're truly a lifesaver because when I get off work it's dark outside and the lights in here are super yellow, so these provide much brighter, cooler light. I almost forgot to mention the lights actually came in a set, so together they were 50 bucks, which puts us at a total of 125. Okay, next on the list is this. This is a motion tracking tripod. Well, Doesn't really have 3 legs, so I don't know if it's a tripod, but it's a stand. Basically just moves side to side to follow you wherever you're going if you're moving around in your videos. And it actually wasn't a purchase for myself, it was for my wife. She has a vlogging channel, which I'll link in the description if you want to check it out. Love you, babe. But I have used it a couple of times in my videos, mostly when I'm outside doing my little walks and talking to the camera. It's got full 360 range of motion, so you can walk all the way around it, which is dope. And honestly, it works great. It was a Walmart purchase. I think it was like 30 bucks. So frankly, I was surprised with it. And one of the coolest things about it actually is that it's compatible with that tripod. So if you wanted it to be higher instead of just this little thing, you can attach it to the top and you can extend the tripod and get a taller rotating camera. So that brings our total up to $155, which truthfully I think is pretty affordable. And some of that stuff you don't need, like you don't need the rotating camera. So that'd be $125. And you could probably do with just one light. So that's even cheaper if you wanted to do that. But I think the 2 lights with the tripod and the built-in microphone are a great setup to start. You can get that all for $125, so it's not too bad. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, this thing. Now this may or may not have been sort of an impulsive buy. I was getting kind of tired of my audio and having to always adjust it, so I kind of went all out and spent something like $250 on this microphone. But in my defense, I think audio is the most important part of a video because people can sit through a low quality video. Nobody wants to sit through bad audio. That's just the truth. So if you're gonna invest your money into anything to start, I would say invest in a good microphone. It doesn't have to be Bluetooth, it could be a shotgun mic, it could be a desktop mic, but invest in something good. That's my 2 cents. Needless to say, I have no regrets with these mics. They have great audio, they have great range. They come with a charging case so you don't have to be plugging them in every so often when you're using them. They come with windscreens, they come with magnets so you don't have to clip them onto your shirts, and they even come with all sorts of cables so it's compatible with basically any phone or camera that you may have. But yeah, that pretty much covers everything except my MacBook that I use to edit. So as you can see, it doesn't take a whole lot to get started on YouTube, and it doesn't take a whole lot of money. I mean, except for this thing, which I got afterwards, but that's besides the point. I think my next purchase is probably gonna be a little bigger because I do want to get a camera. And that's mostly because I want to stop using my phone. I've been trying to minimize my phone use as much as I can these days, and YouTube is probably the biggest thing that I use it for. So if I can minimize that even further to where I'm recording on a camera, I'm gonna leave that phone alone for 90% of the day, which is great. Plus I'll get better quality video and everything, so at this point I think it'll be worth it. Anyway, if you wanna try out some of this equipment for yourself, I'm gonna link everything in the description, so check those out. I just realized I'm gonna have to shoot a ton of B-roll for this video, so I gotta go do that now. But in the meantime, check out this video and everything else on my channel, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.